So when you're looking at interpreting a biblical story, you have to grasp what's the tension, what's the resolution. I think that's the big one. What's the tension in this plot? How does it resolve itself by the end of the story? Does it resolve? Sometimes they don't. The prodigal son story with the older brother is left unresolved, which is the real tension there. But how does it resolve itself? And then, how do all the details feed into that? And that's a challenge, because I think a lot of people maybe have been trained by hearing preaching that kind of plucks details to make points. So for example, just a simple example, the story of Zacchaeus in Luke 19. It's 10 verses long, and in the middle of it, there's, I think it's verse 7, all the people start grumbling. It's very easy to pluck that out and have a go at the people that are in your church who are grumblers and just say, see, God doesn't like grumbling. But that's not the point of that. It's not given as a little life lesson in the midst of the story. It's a detail that's feeding into the main issue, and the main issue is this tension between Zacchaeus and his sort of unrighteousness, and what happens when he encounters Christ, or when Christ comes to him, which is really how it works ultimately. He seems to be chasing Christ. Christ comes to him. Christ calls him out of the tree to his side and says, I'm coming to your house. He honors him with table fellowship, and the response of the crowd at that point is critical, because it's the insight to what's happened in the story. How does Zacchaeus get changed? Is it because he gives all his money to the poor? No, that's the response. How he gets changed is Jesus saying, I'm coming to your house. And it's the grace of Christ towards Zacchaeus that is revolutionary. Why? Because the people listening, the people watching, suddenly are grumbling, but they're not grumbling at Zacchaeus. There's this kind of building, surging anger within the crowd, and it's toward Jesus. They're grumbling at him because he has gone to be the guest of a sinner. And it's a beautiful picture. That's how it works. That's the gospel in action. Jesus takes the anger that sinners deserve on himself to set them free. And so if you look at the details like that one, you say, how does this detail fit within this tension, within this plot? You can interpret it accurately. If you just pluck it out and make it a preaching point, you're just going to be pressuring people with things the text was never intended to communicate.